Jeremy Bentham was born 1748 and deserves credit for being a real champion of act-utilitarian theory. Even though Bentham could not have foreseen the technology of the future, he was a true visionary when it came to philosophy, and his theories are still applicable today. Act-utilitarianism is a consequentialist theory, which holds that what ought to be ethical and good is dependent on what brings the greatest total happiness to all. This theory is important in the context of virtual harassment and cyberbullying because the internet is shared by everyone around the world. Users on the internet make up different ages, sex, nationalities, beliefs, and social status, and it can be hard to take into account all the factors that would make individuals that make up these groups either happy or unhappy. For example, different countries have different social norms on what may bring happiness to one nation may impede or infringe on another's values. That is why the computer community should use act-utilitarianism theory when deciding that cyberbullying and virtual harassment is wrong, no matter what group, how juvenile, or unintentional the harm may be. We can use this act-utilitarian theory to understand that what would bring the most pleasure to all would be to put an end to cyberbullying and virtual harassment on the internet. Out of all the users on the internet, young, being the youth, teenagers, and young adults should be considered a highly vulnerable group to cyberbullying. In the textbook Ethics in a Computing Culture, vulnerable groups can be identified as groups of people that are likely to be hurt or taken advantage of. Brinkman and Sanders make a very important direct statement to the computer community on page 275. As a general rule, computer professionals have a duty to pay special attention to all vulnerable people who might be harmed by their work. This point is directly relatable to act-utilitarianism and cyberbullying. When someone is harassed online to the point of death, it affects more than just the two users, i.e. the predator and the victim. This behavior can affect entire communities. Sarah Lynn Butler, Tyler Clementi, Ryan Halligan, Ronan Hughes, Jessica Logan, Grace McComas, David Malak. But it is not enough to simply state these names of all these victims. We must do more. The Megan Meyer Cyberbullying Prevention Act was introduced into the House on 4/2/2009. This literature seeks to impose criminal sentencing on cyber harassment and virtual bullying acts. This kind of legislation would undoubtedly provide real repercussions for those behaviors and clearly outline the incentives not to harass others. Every life that is lost due to this senseless behavior negatively affects everyone. These actions do not bring greatest total pleasure. Therefore, act-utilitarian theory holds that these actions are unethical. Silence in the face of evil is evil, and in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, he who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting it is really cooperating with it.